Hi everyone, I'm Scott from Sharky's Flooring in greenhouses here in Crivitz, Wisconsin, and today we're going to be talking about watering basics. Now we've been doing a whole series on going back to the basics and building on these principles that will help you have a great year gardening or keeping and caring for your plants and flowers. And we want to build upon these basics and get these all right in a row so that you can have a great year. So today we're talking about watering, and watering is one that a lot of people get messed up on, all right? And you know, we're known for our hanging baskets, and people come from all other states and from long distances away to come get our hanging baskets. It's our niche, it's what we're known for. And so those customers come in and they grab a hanging basket or 10 or 30, and they're like, okay, Scott, now how do I water this? Do I just, add a quart of water every day or what? And you know, the answer, you're never going to get an exact amount of water from me. I'm going to tell you whatever it takes. That's the amount of water that it needs. Okay, so we're going to break this down into 3 different principles today for watering. So the first one is the 24-hour mentality. So what I want you to do is get in the mentality of you're not trying to water this for the week or the month, okay? You don't eat that way, right? I mean, some of us will go to a buffet and we try to eat for the entire week. But the principle we have is just 24 hours. I'm trying to get this plant to live for 24 hours, okay? That's all the further ahead I'm thinking, because so many of you get this wrong. You're trying to water this for the whole week. It doesn't work that way. It's a living plant. It needs daily care. Just like we need daily care. We eat, we drink water, we refresh ourselves. This plant needs daily care. 24 hours. That's as far as you want to go, all right? So the mentality is the 24-hour mentality. I'm doing what it takes to get this to tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'll address tomorrow. Okay, the weather changes daily, so our habits have to change daily. So getting that 24-hour mentality is that first principle. The second one is going to be watering, the actual watering itself, and watering this adequately. And how do we know that? Well, specifically we're talking about hanging baskets, but this does apply to basically all your containers, all right? So if it's a hanging basket, if it's a container, we really want to lift it is the best way to figure out how heavy this needs to be to determine the water content, okay? So the best way, and I have 1,600 hanging baskets in here right now. You know how I check them? They're all hanging and I lift them, 1,600 at least once a day. Lift them up and I just go right down the row, and that way I can determine how much water it's going to need. Because even if I have a couple that are exactly the exact same petunias or geraniums or whatever, sometimes those plants go into a grow mode, and this one will be growing using that moisture. The other one sitting next to it might be just kind of idle. So even the same plants might take a little bit different care. So the best way to determine that is to actually lift it, all right? And you want to lift it and feel that heaviness and get an idea of, okay, that's pretty good. The plant's looking good. That's about how heavy it should be. And remember, as we go through the summer, this plant's going to grow. So it's going to get heavier as we go on to the summer. Like this hanging basket, this Proven Winners series, this Vista series, this is just a baby, okay? This is going to double, if not triple in size. It's going to get huge. So its requirements are going to change over the summer. Its watering requirements are going to change over the summer. Yeah, this is going to get massive, and that's what we're known for, is our massive hanging baskets. So that's going to change. So how do we figure out how much water it needs? We go by how much heft that hanging basket has. Now you're going to find absolutely terrible advice out there, okay? There's garden gurus that know nothing about what it takes to grow hanging baskets, and they're telling people, oh, just water it until the water drips out the bottom. That's terrible advice. I would never tell anyone to do that, okay? You want to water this until it's adequate, that has enough heft. If the water is running out the bottom, that's too much. You have to throttle it back and come back from here. That's your high point. If the water is coming back out of it, that's too much. It's just like me grabbing a 5-gallon pail when I'm thirsty and trying to down the whole thing. That's too much water. My body can't process that. Same thing with the hanging basket. That's too much water when it's dripping out the bottom. And what's going to happen is if you constantly water like that every day, it's too wet every day, and those roots will rot over time. So take a month, 30 days of that being too wet, too wet, too wet, too wet. Those roots will rot, and then one day that plant will just die. Now, it was dying for a long time, but it's that one day that all of a sudden it just gave up the ghost and it's done. And it's very hard to bring it back from that when the roots are rotted, because that's the base, the foundation of it. So we're going to water until it's adequately moist, not running through. We're going to lift it to feel how heavy it is, okay, and learn how heavy that plant needs to be when it's adequately moist. So the third principle is watering in the morning. Okay, and I know a lot of you will work and you'll come home and maybe you have dinner and then you like to go out in your yard and water your plants and flowers and hanging baskets and whatnot. And that's a bad habit, because follow me on this. It's going to be wet all night long, and those roots are going to rot. Now, if it happens, you get home from work and everything was dry, it was a really hot day, you might need to water at night, and that's okay. I'm talking about the habit of it, of coming home from, say, work, and okay, after dinner I'm going to go and water everything. Those plants are going to sit wet all night long, and those roots are going to be kind of cold and wet, and they will rot. Okay, so if we're talking over a month time, that's where you're going to run into trouble. If it happens once in a while, the plant needs water at night, that's fine, go ahead and water it. But habit-wise, you really want to water in the morning. That way, that container, say your hanging basket, you water it in the morning, it has all day long to kind of dry down and then be ready for the next morning when you water again if need be. So those are our three principles for watering. Again, we're kind of talking specifically on hanging baskets, but it does apply kind of across the board. Of course, if you have beds of flowers, obviously you can't lift them to see how heavy they are, but you can learn about how much water it's going to take to make sure that those beds or those containers are adequately moist for the day. So take it one day at a time. Again, that 24-hour mentality. We're just trying to get this hanging basket to look good and care for it for today. And then tomorrow we'll worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow might be raining. We might not have to do anything. Or tomorrow might be 90 degrees, low humidity, high winds. Those are all things that are going to factor in and change what we're going to do for tomorrow. So learn that 24-hour mentality, and your hanging baskets and your plants and flowers will love you for it. So we're going to continue building upon these basics. So we talked about soil because that's our foundation. That's where we have to start for success. And if you didn't watch that video, go ahead and scroll back through our videos on our Facebook page and check out the video on soil. And we're going to be talking about fertilizing. Now, we're known for our Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer, and we're going to be talking about fertilizing your plants and flowers. We're giving them food. Why? Because we want them to grow and we want them to flower and get huge and really make our neighbors insanely jealous. So the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer is what we're going to be talking about next time. So I put a link in this video description, and that will take you to our beatyourneighbor.com website to all of our how-to videos. So we explain more thoroughly and more in depth on the videos. So be sure to check out our beatyourneighbor.com webpage, and there you can find not only the how-to videos, but also we have a lot of blog articles, and there will be a lot of topics that you're probably interested in. So be sure to check that out on our beatyourneighbor.com website, and also you can find, of course, our fertilizer and our petunia trees and a lot of other cool things. So thank you for watching and joining, and give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and share with your friends and family. A lot of people need to know this information so that they can have a great success with their plants and flowers. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.